Welcome back, party animals, as Junior says, beautiful people, whatever you want to be called today. Welcome back. It's the Monday BMR NBA Odd Show, brought to you by Bookmakers Review. We got the trifecta for you today. With Junior Browne, of course, joining me, and then, of course, our special guest. He's very special, Kyle Purviance.
Thank you. Yes, very special. I'm a Rob Gronkowski special.
He is exceedingly special, and we're all here to give you some fire NBA picks here on this Monday slate. A little bit of a wild one here over the weekend. A ton going on. Did not have any NBA picks yesterday. I did, though, briefly. I have to vent about the Terps yesterday. The Terps were a great play yesterday against Wisconsin, and then they get down 19 before halftime. And it's just they're not going to – even if they made it a game, not let alone they only lost by 1 point, but the fact that they made it a game – just goes to show you that they were the right play. Just could not get off the ground early in that one. So 0 for 1 from yesterday. Nothing on the NBA, though. Like I said, Kyle, how was your big – yeah, we had a big day in sports yesterday. Did you have anything? Did you make any money yesterday?
Yeah, I made a little bit. I hit some plus money on a double team total in that Rams 49ers game. I was all NFL yesterday and, of course, the Dexter season finale. So I was very distracted. So NBA moved to the bottom of the importance list yesterday, but it's a decent weekend. A little bit tired today, feeling my age. I just turned 40 a week ago today, so things are catching up to me. I gotta trim the beard to keep the gray out, but overall, decent weekend. Can't complain.
My wife spotted a gray hair on my head too. It was my birthday over the weekend as well. It's okay. These January birthdays are rough on us, guys. Nobody wants to party. Everybody's partied out from the New Year and Christmas. Yeah. Anyway, JB, how'd you end up this weekend, my guy?
Pretty quiet. Yesterday was some pretty good action. I'm kind of like Kyle on Sundays. I'm really dedicated to football, but I did hit something with the Grizzlies yesterday. Did not hit with the Nets. So wasn't the greatest day. John Morant's block yesterday, that two-handed. I don't even know what you want to call that. That's one of the best blocks you'll ever see from a point guard. He's electric. Jordan's been shouting from the mountaintops that he's an MVP candidate. He ain't going to win MVP, but he has to be in the conversation at this point because he's playing like Superman out there right now. Interested to see what's going to happen tonight, though. Some interesting spots. Got to shout out Klay Thompson, who not only came back, but he actually took somebody off the dribble and went down the lane and dunked. Find me another highlight where Klay Thompson has done that in his career. So if there's any question as to whether or not he's healthy, he looks pretty goddamn healthy to me, man. And that means that this Warriors team, which is already the best in the league, just got that much better. Because there was a shot, and I'm one of these basketball nerds that notices these things, where there's a shot where they kick it out to Klay, and the defender was about to leave his men and go close out Klay. Oh, it was Darius Garland. And Darius Garland's like, oh, shit, my man is Steph. So I'm going to leave Steph to go to play.
Can I say I'm digging the Emperor Palpatine look for Junior today? I love the Palpatine look today. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's freezing out here, but I'm just trying to stay warm in these streets.
North of the border, man, you gotta Star Wars it up today. We all gotta wear our little Jedi hoods today. Yeah. It's in the teens here as well, man. That's it's not fun. I know Kyle's up there in the great Northwest. I'm sure
it's cold as shit here.
A little bit brisk. Also, yeah, about that Klay highlight. Good God, if Ja didn't make that unbelievable block, like that dunk from Klay would have been everywhere. But like Ja's play was just like so like incredible athletically alone, let alone the timing of it. The fact that he turned it over and hustled back, got back on defense Watch the Grizzlies play, young kids. You'll learn how to play the game the right way because they are more fun to watch than probably 80% of the teams in this league at this point in the year. I know I'm a little gassed up. I just bought another John Morant jersey, by the way, over the weekend. Shout out to NBAstore.com. We gotta get rolling on today's slate. We have a big 7 games today, 7. We're gonna talk about 4 of them. So we gotta kick it off here with Milwaukee heading into Charlotte. This is one where my eyes, I thought, were deceiving me early in the day when I saw this at 2 points in favor of Milwaukee. Now, granted, they're without Jrue Holiday, not completely healthy. There are some things going on. The Pat Connaughton might not play again today with health and safety protocols. Grayson Allen's still out, so it's not like the Bucks are at full strength, and it's not like the Charlotte Hornets have not been playing well. Let's be completely honest. We've been talking, Junior and I have at least been talking about it all year. I know with Kyle's been on the show, we've talked about the Hornets once or twice as well. Like, their offense is good. Their offense is well within the parameters of being able to hang a lot of points on this Bucks defense. My question is, though, I'll start with Junior. Can we expect the Hornets to have much success on offense tonight against this Bucks defense that, when motivated and when ready to play, and when at home especially, can be very potent, even without Jrue Holiday to check LaMelo tonight, which I think is probably first and foremost on my mind of why I think this line is short and why I think the books just are probably saying that, yeah, this game probably is going to stay close within 1 or 2 possessions here. So can we expect LaMelo to go off tonight, 1? And can we expect that to parlay into the Hornets staying in this game and or covering, Junior?
This is a tricky one for me because the spread just seems suspicious.
Very.
This line just seems very sharp to me. I actually tried to talk myself into taking the Bucks, and I still might. It's a revenge spot for the Bucks. I'm not really sure they believe in that type of thing. I don't think revenge spots really matter to them that much. But it's more than just Jrue Holiday's ability to stop LaMelo. He's got to slow down Terry Rozier as well, who's playing pretty good basketball. I'm one of the first people to criticize a guy like Terry Rozier, but he's playing really well. He's found a pretty good. Like, for example, he's accepted that it's LaMelo's team now, but he can still get his. In his last 6 games, he's averaging 23 a game on 53% shooting from not only both the fields, but 3 also on like 9 3 attempts a game. So it's pretty strong. The thing that I worry about Charlotte, though, against a team like Milwaukee, if I'm going to be honest, is that Charlotte can fall in love with jump shots sometimes. And against a team like Milwaukee, I'm not really sure that's going to get it done. You're asking them a lot also to beat Milwaukee in back-to-back situations, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm not 100% convinced by this. Charlotte is one of the worst teams in the league at getting to the line. So I think that's going to play a factor because Milwaukee's going to damn well get to the line. I guess I'm saying all of that to say I don't see an advantage, so I'm off of it. Gun to my head, Milwaukee, because it's under 1 possession at 2.5 is what I'm seeing.
Yeah. This total's also been skyrocketing upward a couple points, and George Hill also out as well. We talk about all the time on this show, man. You're without your first and your second point guard, and you're down to your third string point guard, which granted is probably Chris Middleton in this game. To be honest, I expect the ball to be in his and Giannis's hands essentially all game. So if you're hacking at props tonight, definitely some assist props, Kyle, on those 2 guys tonight. Anything else you're seeing from this game?
Yeah, and I kind of like a couple scoring props. LaMelo Ball, 17.5, minus 130. In his last 3 games against Milwaukee, his fantasy totals 58, 61, and 43. Milwaukee actually struggles a little bit defensively on the wing, allowing the 4th most fantasy points to opposing small forwards, the 12th most to opposing point guards. So there are some holes out there, especially without Jrue Holiday. I mean, you guys are right. This feels like the books are begging us to bet Milwaukee. I don't like when they're begging me to do anything. I like to do my own thing here, so it makes me nervous. You're right. The total's 236.5. Look, the Charlotte defense, that's the problem with this team. They are an absolutely putrid defense, but they can score. But there's just no way you can touch a total at 236.5. I'm a Junior. If I had the proverbial gun to my head, I would lean Milwaukee here. But a couple props. LaMelo Ball, over 17.5 points, minus 130. And you mentioned Chris Middleton, over 21.5 at minus 130. The ball should be in his hands a lot. I like a couple of props in this game. Probably won't touch a side here. I'd have to be really bored later on today to get involved in this one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. You guys are right. If if anybody's in a regulated state and knows when you log on and you just see a book throwing like, these promos at you, we'll call them promos in quotation marks. They want you to bet negative EV bets most of the time. This doesn't mean that there's not some that just are no-brainers and have great value when they're trying to get you some marketing money and get that dollar out there. But most of these special little promo bets that they have going on are usually bad bets, and that is the same kind of feeling. You're right. I get with the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. It just seems like you're right. The books want you to bet negative EV bets. They want to even out the side because the sharp money could be on the Hornets tonight. So I'm probably going to stay away from this entirely because I just can't trust the Hornets. You're exactly right. Let's move it on. Let's move on to Beantown tonight. Indiana Pacers, the revitalized Indiana Pacers. Who thought it would only take Lance Stevenson to revitalize the Indiana Pacers? God. It would be so typical. I don't know if I'm playing this game, but let me go on a quick rant before I throw it over to you, Kyle. It would be typical Indiana Pacers for Lance frickin' Stevenson to be the missing part to all of this and barely get them into the playoffs and miss out on the lottery for a team that probably should be trying to go the other direction. I digress. This line, it seems like it's heading into Boston's direction, and I got to know if Brogdon's going to be back tonight or not, if I'm going to get involved in this one at all. Even with that information, I don't know if I'm getting involved in this game, but Torrey Craig also could come back for this one, so still some question marks for Indiana in this one. Still going to be missing Karis LeVert. You got a Boston team at home. I'm not going to step in front of them regardless of what Indiana and the Fighting Lance Stevensons have been doing. So, Kyle, did you see any value on this game? Because the total's also been coming way, way down, and that would be the direction that I would look. But I think we've probably missed the bullet on this one a little bit, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. I was looking at the over in this game because, as you mentioned, it came down, and we know the Pacers don't give a damn about playing defense. The problem is, you mentioned possibly no Brogdon, no Karis LeVert, maybe Torrey Craig comes back. Those two big guys up front, they're gonna have their hands full with Horford and Robert Williams. This isn't. I mean, clearly Indiana has the advantage here. You'd prefer Sabonis and Miles Turner, but it's not going to be smooth sailing. They're not playing a Brooklyn team with Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge trying to defend. There's some reasonable big bodies there that can make things difficult. So I didn't touch the total. It's Boston or nothing for me. I don't like it over 2 possessions, so I'd probably make this a first half bet or a live bet. Maybe Indiana can have a hot first quarter and get things going here, but just too many missing pieces, too many bullets missing from the gun, if you will, if Brogdon does indeed miss and Karis LeVert. Now you have Boston at full strength with Smart, Tatum, and Brown. It's got to be Boston or nothing for me, but I didn't put anything official on it.
Yeah, this is another one where these two teams match up pretty well with one another, Junior. Yeah. I think that they're staring at a lot of similarities, especially as Kyle mentioned, down low on the front court. So it might come down to a Brogdon and a Torrey Craig giving you a little bit of defensive help, and definitely for the Pacers and Brogdon side of things, the offensive side of things as well. So, JB, do you got anything on this game? I believe this is the first meeting between these two teams this year, which is a little crazy as well. So maybe a little shenanigans in that regard as well, but nothing for me on this one. What do you got, Junior?
These are two teams that I try to stay away from as best I can. The Boston Celtics are just so inconsistent. For me to pretend that I know what they're going to do from one night to the next, I would just be lying to you. So the Pacers picked up a big win against Utah, who I'm pretty sure was without Rudy Gobert.
Yes.
Against the Celtics, a lot of the things that worked for them in that game should, in theory, work for them in this game. I have a hard time seeing them put up that many points again. And the Celtics offense to me is it's just from, as a basketball fan, forget about what we do here for a living. It's unwatchable. I can't watch what they do. It just sucks. Like the game against New York that they lost in that buzzer beater 3, they had no business losing that game. Even the game that they just won the other day, the game was a snooze fest. Like, they're terrible, man. I'm not a fan of what they do. I would be looking to the under here because I think that the Pacers can throw a monkey wrench at what they try to do. A lot of one-on-one for Boston, which I'm just not a fan. I'm trying not to show my bias here, but I just want no parts of this game because I don't ever get involved in Pacers games because they're so Jekyll and Hyde. And as for Boston, I can't even tell you, like, are they the team that lost to the Spurs and the Knicks? Or are they the team that just beat the Knicks? Are they the team that beat Phoenix 2 weeks ago? But again, when you start looking for quality wins on their season, you really got to start digging. And every time they get a quality win, they get their asses kicked. So I see no advantage in this game. I want no parts of it, spread or total.
Yeah, it's a tough one tonight for sure. Definitely match up well. The Pacers definitely match up well against this Boston team too. I will say that if they can get Brogdon back, that's just going to add fuel to that fire. So I'm not necessarily sure I agree with the line movement, to say the least, but it's not one I'm going to jump on for sure. Let's move on to the game of the night, folks. Game of the night. Cleveland Cavaliers and the Sacramento Kings. I only say this half jokingly because all three of us have plays on this game, so it must be the game of the freaking night. But I'm going to go first real quick because I'll start with mine. I'm going to think under in the first half of this one, 113.5, well over half of the full game total, which has been starting to climb back down. Started at 219.5, went up to 220, back down to 219. I think the under is a great play with this one, with both teams coming off the second night of a back-to-back. First off, their defenses do both get a little worse on no rest. However, the Cavaliers, that's still, their defense is still really good. It doesn't matter if they're coming in on no rest. I think they're going to grab this Kings team and just shut them down on that end of the court. And Sacramento also, their offense, outside of their last two games on no rest, their offense has been atrocious. I think they've been at or under a 50% effective field goal percentage in those 5 games on the second night of no rest. Obviously, there's a little bit of player personnel missing for both teams still. Kings also lately have not been very good. Their last 5, they've only been averaging about 102 points per 100 possessions in the first half. Cashed the under in their last 4 back-to-back games. I could go on, but I wrote this up for BMR, so you guys can check it out as well. But I think that first half under is really good. Little concerned about the second half, or the full game one, I should say, because the second half, tired legs for both squads, could get into a little bit of a shootout if Sacramento is having their way, especially because they're going to want to up this pace a lot. Cleveland's going to want to slow it down as much as possible. But the fact that these two teams have combined to cash the under at 11-4 this year on no rest, give me the first half under for sure. Like that full game one too. Junior, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, you're talking me into the first half under, which I wanted to get into. My official play is full game under 220.5. If you look at both of these teams' splits, I think it plays to the under. I think the Cavaliers win the game, which automatically plays to the under. Let's start there. The Kings only score 107 points per game at home. Their offense is actually worse at home than it is on the road. They played last night, so they have no rest advantage whatsoever. If anything, pretty sure they had the longer trip home, or it was, relatively the same. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of it because I don't have any of this written down. But
Cleveland probably stayed in the same hotel as they were the night before because they played in Golden State and just right across the bay. I mean, I don't see any reason why they would have to move. So yeah, you're right. I'd say it's
exactly
advantage.
Mm-hmm. So, and like I said, not only are the Kings worse at home offensively, the Cavs' defensive splits on the road at home are relatively the same. So I just think that in a situation where both teams played last night, the better team might have the better chance of controlling the pace. De'Aaron Fox, I know he played last night, but he's been a little bit banged up because he was questionable.
Of course
after being questionable last night,
of course he is
he going to play full minutes tonight? Nope. I don't know about all that. Whereas the Cavaliers have Garland back. They got Rondo for a little bit of insurance at the point guard position. And if they can control the pace, then again that plays to the under because they play at like the 9th slowest pace in the league. They're just a better team. I certainly can't lay 6 points with this Cavs team against anybody. I'm sorry. You can't just be laying 6 points with random road teams. -6 and up is for the elite on the road. Just know that. Cavaliers are good, but they're not elite.
Yeah.
So it can only be on the total, and my look is to the under here.
Yeah, I like that play. I like that a lot considering I'm the first half too. I might have to ride with you on that full game as well. Kyle, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, let me just say, De'Aaron Fox is softer than Sharman. This guy is dreadful on back-to-backs. You cannot trust it. He will leave the game with a little tummy ache at halftime. I cannot stand De'Aaron Fox. He drives me absolutely up the wall. And you're right, they're just undermanned. Cleveland's going to throw bodies at them in the front court. Sacramento's out here in these streets, as we like to say, starting Alex Len. Alex Len is still starting at center for you. Cleveland is going to smash them up front. They're going to smash them in the backcourt. Sacramento allows the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing centers, the 4th most fantasy points to opposing point guards. They are a dreadful defensive team. You're right, Cleveland was in the area. I like Cleveland a lot. I'm going to take the truest form of basketball. Both these teams, as you mentioned, are on a back-to-back. I like Cleveland -2.5 in the first half. They should beat them by 1 possession in that first half. I agree with both of you on the unders. I don't know where the points are coming from for Sacramento. Again, you can't. Tyrese Halliburton's going to have to absolutely go off, and Buddy Hield's going to have to do something off the bench because you're not getting it out of De'Aaron Fox tonight. He's just not good on back-to-backs if he even plays. Like I said, softer than Charmin's. Cavs are nothing for me. I'll take him in the first half, as Junior mentioned. I'm not taking 6 points in a full game with an above-average team, but not a great team. But I'll take the -2.5 in the first half. I think the Cavs get it done early.
I do get that feeling, before we move on real quick to this final game, that De'Aaron Fox got his money, and he kind of just is biding his time, right? Because his name's been in trade rumors like all year, which is funny to me because he just signed an extension, and they gave him like $160 million or something like that, and he's just like, man, if I could just get traded for Ben Simmons or something, that'd be great, like that would fix all of De'Aaron Fox's woes if he could get out of Sacramento. But that you're right, and he should be one of those guys, and I bash University of Kentucky players most of the time, and like 90% of the time I don't like him, but he just seems like a guy that just like he could be anything he wanted to be in this league, but yet he just whatever reason it just hasn't translated just yet. You see flashes of it. You definitely see flashes of it. It's not a consistent basis for sure. We got one more game, probably should be the game of the night, but it's a reschedule. It's a game that we were not planning to talk about, obviously, up until it was rescheduled here recently. Brooklyn Nets into Portland to play the Blazers. Tons still missing for the Portland Trail Blazers here, obviously. Both teams, again, coming off of a back-to-back. Brooklyn playing last night in the afternoon, and having to go cross-country is a little crazy to me, so we could talk about that. So not necessarily anything of value to me looking in this game, especially because the Brooklyn Nets are laying 9 points, and I understand why the Blazers have probably taken money here just because of the travel issue, and also, I mean, they've been undervalued consistently with Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum and those guys out. Now Norm Powell's also out, if I'm not mistaken as well. So, I mean, just it's terrible spot for both teams. I don't know if I'm going to get involved in this game, Junior, but if we did get involved in this game, if you gun to your head, proverbial gun to your head, are we taking the points with Portland here, down their 3 best guards, or is it a spot where Brooklyn could shake off this weird travel schedule that we have going on here?
You might could talk me into a Portland first quarter +3 because it's a lot. Maybe a first half at +6 because I've seen that in a couple of spots. Mm-hmm. It's just a weird spot for Brooklyn. They played yesterday at noon, which again, that's weird for them. They ain't the Knicks. The Knicks play at noon. Yeah. Brooklyn does not play at noon. So when I saw that yesterday on the schedule, I was like, that's super weird. And then I saw that and I was like, well, so now they got to fly across the country, change time zones, and play the next day. All of it just seems like a recipe for disaster, at least early. So I don't think that. I think the line is just too sharp at -3 first quarter, -6 first half. Even though I do see some 5.5s and 5s available in the first half right now. The opening first half line was -6. So I think I've just been priced out of this game because of the situation. It's definitely a live bet candidate for me, though. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be me later on tonight, 10 o'clock. Sit down, watch this game, make a couple live bets. But pre-game, can't do it.
Real quick, Kyle, who didn't play yesterday, who's not playing on the second night of no rest, who could be a pretty good prop candidate is Junior's boy, Kyrie Irving. What do you think about this one tonight, my guy?
I just think it's crazy that we're looking at an NBA team playing a back-to-back who had to fly from New York to Oregon. That is absolutely fucking insane to me. Like, what is the NBA thinking? We care about player safety. We want to reduce injuries. Oh, yeah, by the way, let's do the most unhealthy thing we can possibly do. You may as well shoot them up with black tar heroin and throw them out in the river to swim. I mean, what the hell is going on here? This is absolutely ridiculous. But regardless, I kind of lean the under here. We'll see how energetic these two teams are. Now, Portland's a god-awful defensive team, and, of course, Brooklyn has nobody who can deal with Nurkic on the inside. And I'll tell you what, I've been to a few games at the Rose Garden up there in Portland. They love the Bosnian beast. Nurkic is going to be amped up and ready to go. I'm not finding any Nurkic props here, but I'm telling you right now, Nurkic in DFS, you're playing daily fantasy, should have a good game here. Nobody on Brooklyn is going to be able to stop him from rebounding, blocking shots, or scoring inside whenever he wants to. So I sort of lean the under. Am I taking a team that had to go across the country by double digits or close to double digits? No. Am I taking Portland in any scenario without their 3 best players? No. So it's a pass for me. I would look at some Nurkic props later in the day. Maybe Brooklyn first half. You're right, Kyrie Irving. They now have a road field advantage, right? A road court advantage for the Brooklyn Nets. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, Kyrie Irving, I'm not a big Kyrie Irving guy. I think he's a complete and utter fool. From top to bottom. He's one of those guys that tries to sound smart, but he's really stupid. I've dated plenty of girls like that, and he's a lot like them Southern California girls. They think they're smart, but they're really stupid. That's Kyrie Irving. But regardless, I digress. Maybe Nets first half, and I lean the under, but nothing official on this one.
This one is, it's weird. 4 games in 5 nights for the Brooklyn Nets, including a back-to-back now where they had to travel cross-country. Are we sure that Kevin Durant excuse me, or James Harden are going to actually play in this one, or are we going to see some late night shenanigans? Because you're right, like outside of the Nurk alert, which you're right, he's gonna have a really good game. Like there's nothing definitively I can say anything about this game because there's just so much randomness going into the narrative and the situation and the spot for this one alone that combined with the fact that Brooklyn is on a stretch now of 4 games in 5 nights because of this reschedule. Yeah, and they got to go to Chicago and then back home on the second night of back-to-back too. They're going to be in Chicago on the 12th. Thursday they got to play at home against the Thunder. I mean, it's still there's going to be some rest for the Brooklyn Nets in this series in this little stretch of 5 games here. I don't be surprised if one of them's tonight after this go. I don't even know. I'd be scouring Twitter if I was anybody trying to bet the Brooklyn Nets tonight of making sure that James Harden and Kevin Durant were on that flight yesterday. Because if they were, I got to think they have a pretty good chance of playing. But that doesn't mean they're going to play in this whole stretch here because, as we saw from recent seasons where they did do a lot of 3 games in 4 nights and 4 games in 5 night stretches, you cannot guarantee at all who's going to play in these games. So for me, late game, Kyle's talking about DFS. Like you cannot roster any of these guys with much confidence, let alone bet on this game with much confidence either. Especially if you're betting on the Brooklyn Nets, but also Portland too just has so many pieces missing. It's just hard to bet anything in this one. So that'll do it for us today. Let's get to our officials really quickly here. I'm going to throw it over to Junior to lead us off. What do you got tonight, my guy?
Yeah, I got the under in this Cavs-Kings game. Same thing with the Bulls-Nuggets. I got the under in that as well. I think that Chicago bounces back here with a little bit of defense. Nuggets can't score to save their lives for quite some time. Obviously, I'm being a little bit disrespectful to the Nuggets by saying that, but they are 23rd in the league in points per game, and their offense is ranked in the bottom 10, so I'm not lying either. And this Bulls defense is for real. So I think that the combination of the Bulls defense, bounce back spot, don't love that it's an altitude game, but I do think that also plays to the under here as well.
Nice. Like it a lot. Kyle, what do you got tonight?
Yeah, for me, it's a fade of the Kings on a back-to-back and a fade of De'Aaron Fox on a back-to-back and that defense. I like the Cavs -2.5 in the first half. We get a true form of basketball. Cavs defense clamps down. I don't know where the points are coming from for Sacramento outside of Tyrese Halliburton in this one. I like the Cavaliers to get it done early -2.5.
I like it. All 3 of us in the same game. Love it. I got the under in the first half of that Cavs and Kings game, 113.5. Like that full game as well at 220. I think that's also a pretty good play as well. So that'll do it for us today. For my guy Kyle, for JB, thanks to Bookmakers Review. Obviously, go check out BMR and everything we have. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page. That would be greatly appreciated. And definitely check out all the content we got on BMR as well. As I mentioned earlier, I got an article on that Kings and Cavs game as well if you want to read a little bit more into my pick. But like I said, that'll do it for us. Thanks again to Kyle and JB. I'm Jordan Sharp. Until tomorrow, same time, same place, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. Best of luck to you tonight on all your NBA action.
Wow.